endeavors. There is only one acceptable outcome for their craftsmen, a product that they can take personal pride in and absolutely satisfied customers. If you are unsatisfied with your product for any reason at all, they will fully refund or replace the item free of charge. They always guarantee their products. Whether you're looking to buy deck and card boxes, dice vaults, hero vaults, dice towers, personal or tabletop dice trays, or some other accessory such as card sleeves, dice, tile trackers, leather playmats, or more, this company is top of the line. They even do custom orders. They call the wood that they use Core 16, and I encourage you to go to their website for more information on this. So when you are in the market for tabletop or nerd gaming needs, think Wormwood first.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Nicole, and I am the Full Frontal Nerd. You can catch me on twitch.tv/TFFnerd Thursdays through Saturdays at 5 Eastern Standard Time. Come watch me play everything from Skyrim to Star Trek Online, and if you like what you see, you can also follow me on Twitter at TFFnerd or Instagram at Nicole_Palmasano. So make sure you come check me out as I break through all the female gamer stereotypes.
Obla-dee, obla-da, life goes on. Stripping down D&D goes on. Hi, everybody. I'm DM Doc. You might recognize me from such things as Bros and Dragons Incorporated and Bros and Dragons Podcast. I'm also on a stream on Sunday nights called Ben Koya. And so is Jason. Say hi, Jason.
Hi, Jason.
Yay, stupid jokes. A lot of real life stuff going on, but we are going to push forward because, as they say in the biz, the show must go on. Tonight, they wanted to talk about clerics. So let's talk about clerics. What do we know about clerics? Clerics are a paladin's best friends.
They are. Where's Josh when you need him?
I asked him. He says he's having computer problems.
I know.
That's stupid.
Oh, clerics. Love clerics. Clerics are fun.
Okay, so what do you know about the mythology of clerics before we get into the number and ruly thingies?
Clerics are essentially the priests, the clergy of the church for their specific deities. They cover wide variety of domains that are covered by their deity, gods, goddesses. And they can range in roles from battlefield medics to just total badasses. And they are they're all over the place. Like I said, they're priests, they're clergy, they're the holy men of the church that go out to tend to their flock.
Aw. But they're not always that pious type. I have played with somebody's dad who wanted to play and rolled a trickster cleric and pretty much said it was going to be one of those televangelists.
Oh, Jesus.
It was good times.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So the book will tell you that clerics are healers and warriors.
Yep.
The best of both worlds after level 5 when you get 2 attacks.
Well, you don't get 2 attacks as a cleric, actually. You don't get extra attack feature.
Yeah, you do. Actually, you get it at level 1.
Well,
Or I'm sorry, level 2.
It depends on your domain.
I'm talking about the cool ones, Jason. We've had this argument before.
War is like the best domain. War and Tempest.
No, you think Tempest is the best domain.
Tempest is a lot of fun.
We've had this conversation. Let's go through those real quick. We're talking about these little subgroups. Before we get into the knickknacks and the paddywhacks, let's get into our what they call subclasses. When it comes to clerics, we talk about them in their divine domains. That is the actual physical title of the subclass. Now, I haven't played them all. I've played some. I had a monk who was... I took 2 or 3 levels of knowledge cleric. It went with the backstory.
Yeah.
Which is, if you look in the book, our first divine domain. So what do you know about knowledge clerics? You ever played one or had one in your game?
Never played one, never had one played in any of my games. So I'm not real versed on the whole knowledge domain. I just know that their basic goal is the pursuit and advancement of knowledge, though. That sums up the domain pretty well.
It is. And in fact, if you play it right, you hoard knowledge, believe it or not. It's a lot of fun to do because you know everything and nobody knows anything. And then you get to say, muhahaha.
Yeah, they're... and like I said, never had one played or never played one myself, but they're essentially like divine wizards when it comes to hoarding information and
with-
spell and such.
with armor.
Yeah, with armor, lots of armor, all the armor.
No, they don't get heavy.
Well,
But Knowledge Clerics are a lot of fun. It depends on how you want to play them. Everything has their twist. So before we get into the nitty gritty, because we keep talking about these spells and wizards and blah, blah, blah. So the mythology of spells is there's a light plane and a dark plane, and they surround the material plane, which is where people pull magic from. Everybody does it in a different way. Sorcerers do it by using power and pulling from the astral planes and the ether planes, their magic. Kind of like Sith is the way I usually explain it to people.
Yeah.
We have our...
Since you brought that up, like a lot of people in like the D&D 5e group on Facebook, they ask, how can I make a Jedi or a Sith in D&D? And that's the first thing I tell them is roll sorcerer.
Oh, yeah. Or cleric. When we'll get into that tonight. I have used cleric as a Sith class before almost in my head. But back to what we're talking about. So we have the dark plane and the light plane, or the good and bad plane, however you want to put it. And in between is the material plane, which is where all the realms are. Now, on this realm, like I said, sorcerers pull magic through. Wizards use their book and try to finesse magic into being. Warlocks have a limited supply of what they pull from magic. A lot of theirs comes from the evil plane Eldritch Blast cantrip. It's not what you have to do, but it is the main purpose, and we'll get into it when we talk about warlocks. But we get into the paladins and clerics, and it becomes a little less traceable, mostly because TMR, Wizards of the Coast, all through their history, nobody's actually came up with the lore of how it happens. So each DM has their own, even if you're playing raw, which if you guys remember, raw means rules is written, you have the option as a DM to decide how that happens. Does their god or goddess give them divine favor, and that's how it flows? I like that one because if paladins or clerics cross the wrong line, you can make them go on quests to redeem themselves, which actually brings out a whole awesome, intricate part of D&D.
Yep.
Atoning. It's a lot of fun. It really is. But there also is they're pulling magic like a sorcerer or wizard would, and they just believe that magic comes from a god or goddess. There's a lot to it. It could be anything. And I'll plug them every time, and because they can't sue me because I don't make any money off of this particular portion of everything. But God's Fall podcast literally said each magic itself had been wiped from the world, and each character has a superpower per se, but each character is the reincarnation of a god. And they're coming back. So you literally get one power. And if you haven't heard that podcast, Ron Varashian, not a good, close personal friend, but he definitely is somebody that I know. I support his work. He does a phenomenal job with that. So I feel like the Empty Tom box is like the tables you set up when you do like Veterans Day or any kind of meal where you're honoring a lost comrade.
Yeah,
Sorry, that's what it's.
He's the beer sitting next to the empty glass
With
that's
the-
just by people.
With the 3x5 card that has a name. Yeah. I should get a picture of something like that for him. But anyway, sorry. That's how my brain works, people. Welcome to what it is like when I DM. So we get into these different domains, and each cleric has something that it concentrates on. Almost like when wizards pick which area they are as well. And I'm talking almost spoiler alert things because we haven't talked about wizards yet, but we're going to get there. But at the very beginning, at level 1, as a cleric, you pick a domain. It's unusual. There isn't too many classes. In fact, I don't know of another class that you get to pick your subclass right off the bat like that.
Just cleric. The next is wizard at level 2 with the arcane traditions.
Right. So, but we're going to concentrate on these, which is neat because each one comes with like different spell classes according to how you play. And like we were talking, you know, these guys, you can have a lot of fun with knowledge clerics, and I'll give a little bit of insight into Freemasonry if you want. The esoteric teachings is why I joined, and I am a Freemason. Illuminati confirmed, all that other stuff. Go ahead and hashtag it. I wish more people were in chat just to give me troll right now. But the truth is, I got into it because esoteric teachings. It's a 6,000-year-old fraternity that has this teachings that have been passed down through the ages, and it has a lot of esoteric teachings. If you don't know what esoteric is, it's an internal teaching, something that when I read it, it opens up the third eye or the chakra or whatever you want to call it, and it lets you learn more about yourself. So that's a lot of what knowledge clerics could be. They go into esoteric teachings. When I was talking about hoarding knowledge, that could be part of it. And I haven't ever had a knowledge cleric. Like I said, I played one. I did 3 levels with one of my shadow monks because he had committed his life to a monastery to serve them. So I did 3 levels in that. Not a monastery, excuse me, a temple. And when, in fact, it was Jundar, if you know anything about our homebrew games. And that's what he did. He did a lot of research in esoteric values because as a monk, he was actually part of an assassin's guild and he was trying to turn his life around. Oh, yeah, I get into my players, people. Into my players. So we look at this and we'll get down to the little nitty-gritties in a little bit, but I just want to, if you ever wonder, especially about clerics, as you're looking through and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do for my divine domain, look at the spells. At first level, they give you command and identify.
Yeah.
You know, at your third level, well, you get augury and suggestion, non-detection, speak with dead, arcane eye, confusion, legend, lore, scrying. That's it. It's a knowledge-based cleric.
It's all about gaining information or commanding.
So one of the cool features is at second level we were talking. Each class at first level gets something. So for knowledge clerics right here, you learn 2 languages of your choice. You also become proficient in your choice of 2 of the following skills: Arcana, History, Nature, or Religion. Your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make that uses either of the 2 skills that you pick out of that. But let's get to 2. 2 is where it becomes cool because you get the class. You need to power your mic up or turn it up, man. I can barely catch you sometimes. But yeah, we're talking channel divinity now. So go ahead, hit up some channel divinity. Get into the nitty-gritty channel divinity, and I'll jump into knowledge.
All right. Channel divinity is essentially the way a cleric draws upon the power, however they get it, like you said earlier, whether it's their reincarnation of a god made mortal or they're gifted the power from their deity, what have you. You know, that part doesn't really matter too much, but channel divinity is essentially they are taking their divine power, their divine knowledge, and their divine gift and focusing it into a certain aspect based off of their domain. Like every cleric gets channel divinity turn undead because they are that is one of their big things, is they are the anti-undead. At higher levels, their turn undead grants them the ability to destroy undead of certain combat or challenge rating or lower, depending on their levels within the cleric class.
Nerd.
And they are the epitome of the anti-undead.
No, I 100% agree with that one.
And that's what the channel divinity is, really. It's them channeling, like the name says, their divinity and to fuel their power rather than calling upon their gifted abilities to cast spells.
Absolutely. And in knowledge, you always get two choices. You get to turn undead. All clerics get that. And then in knowledge, you get the chance to, for any tool or any, what am I trying to say, any kind of proficiency, not skill proficiency, but like tools and, let me look now. I got to cheat.
No, it is one skill or tool.
One skill. Oh, see, look at that. For 10 minutes, you can do anything with that as you are proficient in that. It doesn't sound like anything cool. A lot of people build the min-max characters again. I'm not a big fan. I'm not saying that in my games you can't. Many people do. Because the game is your game. We joke a lot on the show, and you'll hear us joke about how Doc hates Paladins, how Jason hates Dragonborn, how all this other crap. We are 100% joking. We are DMs. We might believe that a little bit, but we create a game for you to have fun in. It's not all DMs don't create. It's not our game, I guess is the way I'm trying to put that. All DMs create a game for you.
Yeah, the role of the DM is to establish a story that the players tell through their actions and through their advancement and with their characters. And essentially our job is to just kind of guide the story a little bit and get you from the start point to the ultimate end point.
Mm-hmm.
And the players fill everything in between.
It's a book. And I said it in the first episode. It's a book. The DMs, we write the scenery, we write all the other people that are in it, but the main characters are always written by the players.
Yes.
And it's just what it is. But like I said, it has things to it. In higher levels, I think you get read thought with the channel divinity of knowledge, but it's essentially an amazing tool. It's an amazing RP as well. A lot of role playing can come with a knowledge cleric, and all clerics are not useless. Every cleric can swing a hammer, can hold a shield, can get into a fight. If you get smaller clerics, if you play the stereotypical dwarven cleric, have some fun. I threw some things at Tom when he was DMing. Just to give you guys a hint, this is a great one. I used to make Tom think about things a lot because I used to do things that weren't on my sheet because they're a lot more fun. And I had I think I was a life cleric. And so I didn't do a lot when it came to fighting. It just wasn't the style. But he's a dwarf, so he wants to be in the middle of everything. Mm-hmm. So I ran in as a Minotaur was charging us and tried to jab my shield into the ground and trip the Minotaur with it.
Yeah. It's a dwarf, so yeah.
Yeah, have some fun with it is all I'm saying.
Yeah. The beautiful thing about clerics is, like we talked about a little bit with bards last week and their versatility, clerics they can focus in one specific area, like healing, just raw damage, support,
knowledge,
and
trickery.
Yeah,
if you just charming people trying to get what you want,
and they excel so well in their focused area, but they are still very, very versatile and can, you don't even have to be a life cleric to be an amazing healer as a cleric, because you still gain access to your healing spells and everything. It's just with the life cleric, you get a little extra on your heals.
Well, we're there. That's the next domain, so let's talk about it. What do you know about life clerics?
Life clerics, like I said, they get a little bit extra when it comes to healing. Their channel divinity, their first one is extra healing. They can do a limited.
Hold on, this is where it gets cool. The first one is you get to wear heavy armor.
Yeah, they get the bonus proficiency for heavy armor at first level. Like, how many healers do you see running around in plate armor? Not very many, unless you're a cleric. Bards can't do that. Druids certainly can't do that. But yeah, cleric, oh yeah.
Also at first level, what Jason was saying is you get a +2 to all your healing. So if you have to roll 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier, let's say you roll an 8, you have a 4, so you have 12 normally you could heal now 14 instead.
Well, it's a plus. It's a the Disciple of Life feature is for the Life Cleric is you heal for an additional 2 plus the spell's level.
Right. Sorry.
So you
I
get
was doing a level 1 thing. Sorry. So it would be plus 3.
Get your level 1. Yeah, you get your level 1. Like your Cure Wounds is the 1d8 plus your Wisdom modifier plus the plus 2, and then whatever level you cast Cure Wounds at. So say you cast it at 9th level. Let's say you got a 20 Wisdom. So that's 9d8 plus 5 for your Wisdom, plus 2 for the base Disciple of Life modifier, plus 9 healing.
That's if you cast it at level 9, right?
Yeah, that's if you cast it at level 9.
And let's not confuse everybody, because some people that watch the show actually just don't play D&D right now. They're getting into it a little bit. And I don't want to confuse people. We're talking cleric level and spell level. These are 2 different things.
Right. The way spell levels work for cleric is you essentially take your cleric level and divide it in half and round up. And that gives you your caster level for your cleric. That's why at level 17, you get the 9th level spells for cleric.
We'll get to those.
Yeah. They're so fun.
But then they have Preserve Life. That's their channel divinity. Remember we were talking about that before.
Yeah. It gives you a pool of hit points, which is 5 times your cleric level, that you can spread around to any ally within 30-foot range, but you can't heal them past their past half hit points. It's essentially a ranged lay on hands for the paladin. It's an oh crap button essentially for a life cleric is what it boils down to. If you don't want to burn a spell slot, or you don't have a spell slot to burn, but the party is hurting and they need healing, you burn your channel divinity, and everybody, here's some healing, there's some healing, have some healing. They just throw it all over the place.
If you're playing a life cleric, I will give you this one tip. There is a spell called Prayer of Healing. It takes 10 minutes to cast. Mm-hmm. I don't care what you do, beg, cheat, and steal. The only magical item you want from your DM specifically, and you can get others, it'll be fine, but this is very specific. The Ring of Spell Storing.
Yeah.
And then your DM won't argue much if he's a good DM, because he wants to make the battles harder for you. And if you have 2 oh shit buttons, like a Ring of Spell Store with Prayer of Healing and this Channel Divinity, your DM will be a little bit more excited, because then he could put a little bit more on the table and you guys can have a lot more fun.
Right, because with the Ring of Spell Storing, you've already cast the spell for 10 minutes and put it into that ring. So as soon as you activate that ring, it goes off instantly.
Right. So you cast a spell right up to the point of it actually doing something, and then you capture it at that, and the ring sustains it. I'm just giving you guys little advantages on stuff when we talk about this. But we'll go a little bit further. We'll come back and talk about some of these. If people get on here in the chat and want to talk about specific ones, we can. Because we all know that some of the raw, like I said, rules is written, they get a little confusing. But they do have a purpose, and everything's written for a reason. That brings us to Light Domain, my favorite we were talking about. Yeah. I like playing Tempest and War Clerics, but when it comes to your spell pools, Light's going to be my favorite. Oh, by the way, Life Domain spells. Sorry. Bless and Cure Wounds right off the bat. These spells you get for your domain don't count, of course, against your spells known. The domain spells are just instant.
Right. Let me touch on that for a second real quick. The way the spells known for a cleric works is you get 1 spell per cleric level plus 1 additional spell for your wisdom modifier. So every level you gain an additional spell to have prepared. Like the way divine spells work is you have access to the entire spell list, and you can change it out essentially whenever you want, but when you take a rest. You can change your spell list, and you can only have so many prepared based off of your level and your wisdom modifier. That gives you the amount of spells you can have. Um, but the domain spells do not count against that prepared spell list, like he said. These are spells that you have prepared all the time for free.
Mm-hmm. And one of the advantages of Cleric is the short rest spell switch. As long as you have spell slots, you can move some spells around. But Light Domain has Bless and Cure Wounds. Don't ever count that Bless out, by the way. That Bless is amazing. And if you think that every spell should either heal or hurt, you need to look into your repertoire a little bit. And like you were talking about before, if bards are the jacks of all trades, the experts of none, the clerics are definitely the expert of one trade. So, yeah. But then they have lesser restoration, spiritual weapon. Spiritual weapon has saved my rear so many times.
Oh yeah, spiritual weapon's a great spell.
Beacon of Hope, and then everybody's favorite spell is Revivify. If you don't know what Revivify is, you haven't played D&D hard enough.
Yeah. That or your DM is way too nice.
But then we get into the Light Cleric. So what do you know about Light Clerics, Jason? You know what's funny? Watch this. Because if I go like this, it looks like I'm watching you in your box. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. No, the other way.
Oh, wrong way.
Yeah, the other way. There you go. Okay. We're doing Brady Bunch here, people.
Light Clerics. They focus on, as the domain name suggests, they focus on light. They focus on divine radiance. They focus on fire. A lot of their domain spells are straight fire spells. And that is what they do. They're light. They are the divine radiant fire of the gods.
So this is cool. And if you're going to have a Drow campaign where you go against Drow, you want this. The reason is it's got some cool stuff. First off, at level 1, don't take the light cantrip out of the pool of cantrips that you're given because you get it automatically.
Yeah.
Second, what was this one? The blinding the character. Man, I got to read.
The warding flare?
Yeah. When you're attacked, you can use your reaction to oppose disadvantage on the attack roll, causing a light to flare before it hits or misses. And an attacker that can't be blinded is immune, obviously. But basically, if they miss, they're blind for a second.
Yeah.
And then your DM has fun with that, too. Trust me, your DMs love it when you use this stuff. If they've been doing it long enough, because they can grab onto these little nuances from your character and play it back for you. Yeah, Warding Flame, I always cracks me up when it works. But then we talked about that channeling divinity, and this is what I'm talking about. If you get into a mess with some either dark mantles, I know, spoiler alerts, some of the DMs are going to be pissed because I'm letting some of this stuff out of the bag. But dark mantles and drow, stuff like that. And I'm talking low levels. These are not stuff you're going to see forever. They're just low level creatures. Believe it or not, even most of the drow are. They cast darkness. It's magical. And most, I don't think, the only 2 spells I think get rid of that is 3. Either counter spell, which you're not going to know right now anyways. That's a high level spell. Well, I'm losing my mind here. Dispel magic. Mm-hmm. Or channel divinity from a light cleric. Right. Because not only does it get rid of that magical darkness, you basically tap into the power of sun and do radiant damage to your enemies as well.
Right. There's some other spells that you'll get later on in the game that at higher levels that can dispel magical darkness also. Like sunlight. Sunlight is magic. Any magical darkness in the radius is gone.
Good explanation. I like it.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this on YouTube at work,
Sunlight. You create a small sun. It is a 60-foot radius of bright and 60-foot additional radius of dim light.
which is what
There's
this
a
is.
light.
By the way, which is what this channel divinity is. And you do 2d10 plus your level of radiant damage. And at low levels, what I'm talking about, like Dark Mantles, I think are a CR1. Most Drow are between 1 and 3.
Uh-huh.
2d10 is a lot of damage.
Yeah, it is.
But you only get to pull the trigger once or twice, so always remember that.
Yep.
And some of their spells. Burning Hands, Fairy Fire. Fairy Fire you need again, by the way, if you're going to go against some Drow. Flaming Spear, Scorching Ray, and then, of course, at 5th level, Daylight. And then the reason I love this this class, Fireball. Fireball.
And then 9th level. Granted, it's on the well, let's go 7th level first. The Guardian of Faith and the Wall of Fire. Wall of Fire is fun to play with too.
Oh my god, yeah. So is Guardian of Faith, actually. I love that spell.
But at 9th level,
Flame Strike.
Flame Strike. Like it's on the cleric spell list base anyway, but Flame Strike is so fun.
Yeah.
Like,
We'll get to the fun when we talk Tempest, because I know Jason's going to jizz in his pants on that one.
I love Tempest.
But basically, Light Domain isn't necessarily just about sun, fire, and brightness. It's about enlightenment. It's about finding things that are lost. Those kind of cleric RP.
Yeah, coming out of the darkness.
Yeah. Which moves us on to nature. Cleric druid that uses metal chainmail.
Yeah. I've never played, never even talked to anybody that's ever played a nature domain cleric, believe it or not.
Really?
Because everybody that had ever considered going nature domain just went druid instead.
Okay, so I will give you some of the cool things that you can do with this then. So clerics, there's a big difference between clerics and druids, depending on how you want to RP. Druids protect the lands. They don't want any harm to come to the lands. Where a nature cleric will chop down a tree or get branches to make weapons, but he will thank the gods and nature and pray to nature as well. And nature usually comes to his aid as well if the DM's playing the game right.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these characters in the Forgotten Realms, if you listen to Adventure Zone, which is another great podcast, I know I'm not plugging mine a lot tonight, but I just want you guys to know I put out podcasts, but I listen to a lot of them too, and I have my favorites. Adventure Zone is definitely one of them, and the dad on that is a nature cleric who worships Pan, who really is one of the gods of nature in Forgotten Realms. And there's so many neat things you could do with this cleric. First off, it's a cleric, so you're going into battle. Second off, you got Turn Undead because it comes with all clerics because you're going into battle. You don't. I mean, yeah, you get some stuff with the druid, but how do you want to play it? Do you want to respect nature or do you want to protect nature? These are two different things. And when you think about the RP and how the game is going to be played out, these are things that you're going to put into that mix. But yeah, you haven't had anybody do this?
No, I've never even talked to anybody that has played a nature cleric before.
All right, so you get to choose one skill extra with this one. Survival, animal handling, or nature. Which, I'm sorry, all three of those are so useful.
Mm-hmm.
I have never been in a campaign that at least one, if not all three of those needed to be used at one point or another. 2, it's another heavy armor class. Again, no, you're not going to do poop tons of damage and run in there, and you're going to do a little bit less on saving people's life. This is definitely one of those domains that's a little bit more crowd control. I'll explain that in a second. But the Channel Divinity, charm animals and plants. Take that. In your face, charming plants.
That's when you sweet talk the roses.
A rose by any other name is still a rose.
Get them not to stab you with their thorns.
But each beast or plant creature that you can see within 30 feet, that means that you do not have to target any one of these that you can see. Each of them. Make a wisdom saving throw. If they fail its saving throw, it's charmed by you for 1 minute or until it takes damage. This is cool because most charm spells, once the charm spell is done, the creature becomes hostile towards you. They know they were charmed. They're kind of mad about it. This one has a little twist. If it can be friendly, it is friendly. It just stops being charmed. Which gives you your RP classic and so much more, which is amazing.
And it's pretty useful too, because like you said, most charm spells, like as soon as it ends or they make their save or whatever, like they are pissed. But like with this, yeah, like if it's sometimes you have to charm to get your way. But if they're still friendly towards you after the spell or after the effect ends, I mean that's just icing on the cake.
And animals and plants. Just think of what you could do with that anytime that you're traveling and you need to take a break. Mm-hmm. You don't need alarm spells and somebody to be awake all night now, because once you charm the animals and plants that become friendly, they actually help you.
Yep.
It is a long-lasting effect. The ones for this one, animal friendship. Speak with animals. That's first level, people. Tell me you would not have fun with that one.
Yeah.
Barkskin spike growth. Remember I was talking about that crowd control thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. For animal friendship, thanks Squirrel Girl from Marvel.
Pretty much.
I mean,
yeah.
She has an army of squirrels at her bidding. You can do that too.
Or Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Plant growth. Wind Wall. You want to talk about a cool spell? Wind Wall has always been one of my favorites.
Yeah.
All right, number one fan. Jason's always showing off his number one fan.
Number one fan is here.
Yes. Dominate Beast, Grasping Vine, Insect Blade, and Tree Stride. Tree Stride's a lot of fun if you ever make it that high level. Jason, that brings us to your favorite cleric domain.
Well, one of them, but Tempest. Oh, Tempest. Tempest is all about like control of storms and just focusing the inner storm and the outer storm to bend it to your will, and like that's the big thing. Like you are all about controlling the storm, whether it's the turmoil and chaos within you or the literal storm outside. You do lightning damage. You do fire.
You literally do lightning damage.
Yeah, literally. Lightning and thunder.
People hit you, and then you project lightning onto them. That is the channel. I'm sorry, that's the Wrath of Storms. It's not even a channel of divinity for this level.
Yeah, that's the it's a reaction. Yeah, that's your reaction. But it's limited use reaction, but still, that's just a reaction ability you gain.
Yeah, your wisdom modifier. So it doesn't even change that much.
No. And it's like you literally, you are all about thunder, lightning, fire, and radiant damage. You pump it out.
Frightening.
Like, the best way to describe a Tempest cleric, Thor. You are Thor. You have the power of thunder and lightning at your beck and call.
And if you're a dwarf, there's a hammer in the game you should bug your DM to get.
Oh, yeah. But we're not going there.
All right. Tempest is amazing. First off, instead of just getting a heavy armor proficiency, which you do, you also gain martial weapons, which is huge.
Because most clerics, unless you're a dwarf, only have access to simple weapons. Unless you're a dwarf or an elf, um, in which case you have proficiency with specific weapons.
Hmm. But I mean, just in and of itself, and I look at everything as playing human.
Yeah, having that proficiency with the martial weapons on top of the heavy armor, you can put out a lot of damage in melee just base, and you are hard to bring down because you've got the highest AC possible in the game with the heavy armor proficiency.
Oh yeah.
Run around, you're a cleric, you can run around with a great sword or a great axe or a maul and heavy armor and be throwing lightning spells at people.
Wait, a Darth Maul?
A Darth Maul, yeah.
You know what we need? We need more people that get into anime and can do the jokes off the top of their head. I love anime, but the jokes are never there for me. I need somebody who thinks like that.
Yeah.
The channel Divinity
Uh,
hit me because I love this one. Unobstructed storm control. Go ahead.
Yeah. When you roll lightning or thunder damage, use your channel Divinity. You maximize it. Doesn't matter what it is, how many dice you roll, they are all max.
Oh man, and you call storm, and then you max your lightning damage off of that one.
Yep.
Things get incredibly stupid real quick.
Yeah.
Some of the Tempest spells, Fog Cloud, Thunderwave. These two spells are so underused, it's not even funny.
Oh yeah.
Gust of Wind, Shatter.
I love Thunderwave.
Yeah.
Because it's a 15-foot cube, and a lot of people don't understand how a cube works. So, like, I see a lot of questions about the cube and everything for Thunderwave. The way it works is they're a 15-foot cube in front of you, and you can be at any point along that 15-foot side. You can be at one corner or the other, or right in the middle.
I think it reads.
Well, there's
15
been
cube
there's
centered on you.
Well, no, there is clarification by Jeremy Crawford on it.
Okay.
You can be anywhere along the 15-foot line, as long as you are touching one edge of the cube.
No, and I'm glad he did that because the way it's written, raw, is centered on you means you are the center.
Yeah. Yeah, you can anywhere along one of the edges of the cube, or you can be in the cube itself, but it's meant to be focused outward.
Hashtag blame Joe, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be pissed when he hears this. Sorry, guys, I was playing it raw. All right, gosh darn it, it's how it was written.
But yeah, Thunderwave, you deal thunder damage, and they have to make a strength check, I believe it is. And if they fail, they get knocked back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's great, but especially if they're beaten on a squishy member of your party, like a wizard or something. You put that cube to where it's at just the right angle to knock the target away from them, and you cast it, and you just saved your squishy guy from getting beat on that round or the next round.
And Fog Cloud, guys, do not be afraid to use some Fog Cloud just to get around. RP the crap out of Fog Cloud. I will purposely auto fail saves because if you're doing something that I think is unique and awesome in the story, and I want it to go forward, it just like you as a player, you have the right to auto fail a save.
Yeah.
I as a DM could do the same thing with some of my guys because I like the way the story is going. A lot of DMs do not write their stories to hurt you, or we want to challenge you, but we also want to get your character involved, and we want you to RP as much as possible. Yeah. Most DMs. Excuse me. Gust of Wind and Shatter. Gust of Wind has saved my life. Literally jumped out of a 500-foot floating island. Cast Gust of Wind before I hit the lake. We let the dice speak for it. I wasn't doing very good. I still took quite a bit of damage, but I survived.
Yeah. Shatter is great also.
But loud. Do not forget, Shatter is loud.
Yeah. can't get in a door, cast Shatter. You just blow the door up.
Yeah, or find the guy who has knock.
Yeah, but I mean, if there's nobody with knock around, and you just have to get through this door.
Oh my god! I just gotta.
Yeah, like just cast Shatter and blow the thing up.
Call
chest.
call lightning, which is what I was talking about. You literally call a thunderstorm.
Yeah. You can only do it outside though.
Yeah.
But yeah, you literally call a thunderstorm that lightning bolts strike down from the sky, and I mean druids usually have this, but Tempest clerics, yeah, they can literally call down the lightning.
Sleet storm, a lot of fun. Fun. Throw it out there and watch people fall on their asses.
Yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of utility.
Control water, ice storm, they are exactly how they sound. But you can do a lot of stuff with them if you got a good imagination. And then, of course, the reason a lot of people love Tempest at higher levels, that destructive wave.
Yes. Cleric is Tempest cleric specifically is the only class that gets the spell innately without having to find it through scroll or wand or whatever. They are the only class and only domain that gets this spell. What it is, there's a picture that I've seen on Facebook there where this armored figure just slams his sword right into the ground, and just this wave of fire, just this big ring just emanates out from him, scorches the ground as it passes over, and it's just a massive wave of destruction. That is literally what this is.
Oh yeah.
It is a massive radius. It deals 10d6 fire damage and 10d6 radiant damage, and this is only a 5th level spell.
Well, 9th.
Well, it's 9th cleric level, but takes 5th level spell slot.
So here's the cool part about this, and this is where Jason and I go back and forth a lot. We do argue min-max, actually, because that was what this was about.
Yeah.
And I did forget my favorite spell, which a cleric isn't going to get, I don't think. Meteor Shower.
No. Unless it's a homebrew domain. No, cleric ain't going to get Meteor Shower.
We'll talk about that later, people. It's a great spell. Don't let that go. Hold that in that little noggin you got going on. But yeah, we've hit on that. So this comes to trickery. This is probably the least played cleric class I've ever had. And I don't know why. I really don't know why.
I think it's because most people that want to roll trickery domain find, again, same argument with the nature cleric and druid. They'd rather just go arcane trickster with rogue and get the sneak attack damage on top of their regular attacks and stuff. So I think that's probably why it's very underutilized domain.
Okay, first off, right off the bat, you have a touch spell to increase somebody's stealth.
Yep.
Anybody, not just you. That means if you're wearing armor that doesn't do anything against your stealth, but you're hanging out with that paladin or that fighter that has full plate, you could touch them and up their stealth, and now the party has a chance. That's at first level, people. Mm-hmm. First level. This is the channel divinity, invoke duplicity. Do you know what that one is?
Oh yeah. That's you created clone of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And
So the first thing people are going to say is, "Oh, mirror image." Let me tell you the advantage of this.
Sort of.
Let me tell you the advantage here. This is not anything. You create a clone within 30 feet of you, and you can move 120 feet away. As long as that clone has everybody's attention, they won't see you.
Yep.
Oh my god, I just 20 things came into my head about what I could do with that. Just to mess with DMs. Oh, I'm just kidding. There's a
And,
lot of charming with trickster rogues. There's a lot of hiding. It really is, or trickster rogue. Holy crap! Trickster domain cleric. It really is a very roguey cleric class, but it also is that manipulating people out of money, preaching hell and brimstone if they don't pay you, kind of stuff. It. Wow, now I can't see you at all. All right, there we go. Trickster, so underplayed, needs to be played more. I understand, doesn't do a lot of damage, doesn't. You need to look past this stuff. Let's just look down some of the line. Charm people and and disguise self. Right off the bat. Right off the bat, you get these two. Mirror image, you get anyways. Pass without a trace. Blink, dispel magic. We were talking about dispel magic earlier.
pass without a trace. Again, like you were talking about earlier, that if you've got that member of your party that just can never roll well on stealth rolls, it, because of they've got they got heavy armor, so they're at disadvantage, or they're not proficient in it, which I mean, a lot of people aren't. Pass without a trace. As long as they stay close, everybody in the radius gets a +10 to their stealth.
Right. And not just that, pass without a trace hides where your steps are, so survival checks can't find you. Even if people get an inkling of it, it makes it so the enemy it's harder to find you. Very underutilized. Blink is incredible. That's going into the ether, and still seeing the material realm, and then appearing back into the material realm.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about Blink is it's random. Once you cast it and it's on, and you've got the spell buff on you, it's random when the blink happens. So that can be good or bad. Like it could happen at a clutch moment, or when you need it to, it can fail you.
I've heard of people using it to look into chests before they try to open it, and it's been incredible.
Yeah.
But then the next level up, you get Dimension Door and Polymorph. First off, in one of my games in Polymorph, I wanted to do this. So we had a wild magic sorcerer, and he did 2 spells, and the DM forgot to make him roll the 20 on the first one. So we did the spell. You have to go through, and if there's any damage or anything, you gotta make sure that that's all zeroed out. Make sure it's done, and then you roll the d20. Well, he rolled 2 ones in a row, so he became a teleporting sheep. And how my head works, you can already see where I'm going to this. So we've got the spike goblin hat I wanted to put on him, and then cast enlarge, and then find a high level wizard to cast permanent. So we could have had a teleporting battle sheep. We could have rode into battle.
and not just a battle sheep, but a one with a big spike on its head, so it looks like a big, fluffy, teleporting. Well, not full size, but a big, fluffy, teleporting unicorn.
No, that's enlarge. So yeah, it's almost full size.
Yeah, so a teleporting unicorn that's big, soft, fluffy, and adorable.
And then dominate person, and then what I love about this class is modify memory, which is 9th level.
Yeah,
love that spell.
That spell has caused many a problems for many a DM when you've got players that cast modify memory on NPCs.
Yep.
It just ruins everything.
So we come to my favorite domain, Muhaha, when we're not counting the spell stuff, which is
and it's also the one that I play most frequently when I play cleric.
The war cleric.
Oh god, yeah.
I love the war cleric, especially because I love to RP. So war cleric for me, real loudmouth, always wants to fight somebody, prove himself, kind of cleric. Mm-hmm. you don't have to have a war god to have a war cleric. I was trying to explain this to somebody else the other day.
Like the gods, they have preferred domains or domains that they're typically associated with, but a cleric can be any domain and follow any god. It does not matter.
Right.
Like a deity covers every single domain. It's just they have ones that they specialize in certain areas.
Exactly. The god has that specialty, but each god has to be prepared for war, and each god has to. I mean, you can get into some of the semantics about the nature clerics and stuff like that, but war cleric is probably one of those clerics that can go into any god category.
Yep. Easily.
And just what it sounds like. It's a cleric that wants battle, craves battle, wants it, needs to prove himself. All clerics in their mythology go through this heavy training thing where they learn about all these weapons and all these armors and how to fight, and they become proficient, and then they learn to cast spells doing that. And then, depending on your DM, is the somatic part of casting spells, because most cleric spells have some kind of somatic component to it. But that, I think raw is, if you're proficient, you can work around it.
Yeah.
And
at least in 5th edition.
Right. And that's what we're talking here. Don't confuse people, you jackass. Wait, bad Jason. Bad. First off, you get martial weapons and heavy armor again. I'm sorry, that's why I played this class in the first place, and it sounded awesome. You can make a bonus action right off the bat. You can have a bonus action to make a second attack.
Yep. Equal to your wisdom modifier. You get that many per short rest or long rest.
Long rest, yes.
But still.
But then the channel divinity is probably my favorite.
Oh yeah.
Guided strike. When you need to hit and you tap into his channel divinity, you get what, plus 10?
Plus 10
to your attack.
And then at 6th level, when you get your second technically it's your 3rd channel divinity option,
right,
including turn undead, you can give that plus 10 to anybody in your party within 30 feet.
Yeah, I think so. Hold on, I got it here. 6th level war god blessing. Yes.
Yeah. So it's not just limited to you. Once you hit 6th level, if say you're barbarian, he's making 3 swings. He's a berserker barbarian. He's making 3 swings. He hits on 2 of them. The 3rd one misses. And
you have to guess, because you have to do it before you know.
No, you make this choice after you see the roll, but before the DM says whether it hits.
That's what I'm saying. So don't take that. And I understand where you're going, Jason, but this is where people get confused, because they'll hear you and I talking and be like, no. This is what so-and-so said. No. You can roll, and the minute you roll, look at your DM and go, wait. Give me a second. Because if it's around your mid-teens, you're going to have some conversation with yourself.
Yeah. But yeah, pay attention to what you and your group is rolling on the attack rolls, and kind of gauge, what is and isn't hitting.
Metagamer.
This channel divinity does bring metagaming in a little bit, because if you don't think that a roll is going to hit, then you say, "Oh, well, I'm going to add plus 10 to this because this looks low." So it is metagaming a little bit, but it's designed for that.
No, and it definitely, I agree with you 100%. But even if you're not paying attention, or you haven't got close enough, because DM slip. Oh, you barely hit, or something along the lines of that. But this is a great class. I love this class. It definitely falls into one of my starter classes. If somebody is, when I play RPGs, I play something with spells instead of just throwing them in with a wizard or a sorcerer.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend War Cleric, because even if you're not getting the casting portion down, you're not disabled.
Right.
And you look at some. Sorry.
Another big thing that I like about all the cleric domains is at 8th level, you get a bonus called Divine Strike, which adds an additional D8 of a specific damage type based off of your domain. That is there. It's always there on the first strike. It's once per turn you can add this extra damage. So with a War Cleric, if you make an attack using your regular attack action, and then use your bonus attack to make your War Priest attack, you only get it on the first one that hits. So if your first attack for your attack action hits, the extra D8 does not apply to your bonus attack.
What level is that?
8th.
Are you sure?
Yeah, Divine Strike.
I'm not seeing it, brother.
It's in there.
You say that.
I'm looking at it. It's in each domain. It's a domain feature.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought you said all clerics.
Well, the all clerics get it, but
all clerics get a version of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's listed in a domain as a domain feature because the damage type and everything. The damage type changes based off of your domain.
Yes, I'm sorry. That's what confused me. I was
like a light cleric deals fire damage. Tempest cleric does thunder or lightning. War does the type of an additional die for your weapon type.
Right. Yeah, but you're getting higher in levels here.
Yeah, I'm hitting 8th level, but and that's big, because
if you had the Control F, you could find it. You know what? Fuck you. I know who you are. You don't work for me, but you volunteer for me, motherfucker.
Yeah, that D8 is big. Like that's, I mean, as a cleric, you don't get a lot of attacks as it is. So dealing the maximum damage that you can, if you're a damage dealing cleric, on that attack is huge.
Yeah. No.
So,
and I agree. And then I think at 14th level it gets doubled or something like that.
Yeah, at 14th you get an additional D8.
So we are at about our time, so that's good because War Cleric is the last one. I suggest that if you're going to get into clerics and you want to look into the higher level stuff, read up on it. But that's a good overview of what the clerics are. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
It's the last one in the player's handbook.
No, and all we're doing is covering core. They want to do something special for homebrew. I don't know what it is.
Well, there's the Unearthed Arcana ones too.
And we count that UA is still outside the reservation. Yeah.
But yeah, there's some really nice UA domains too.
But we're covering the clerics that are in the book. A lot of stripping down D&D is to get new players or beginning players in. And on that, I know there's UA people. I know there's Volo's Guide. I know there's Player's Companion for the Elemental Evil. If you're just getting started, there's a reason they call it core. Mm-hmm. Stick to a little bit of core until you learn a little bit more. Because here's my tip for you. I have never met a DM that won't let you change something about your character before level 5. And I am open. Like, you don't like your class at all, go ahead and re-roll something. You don't like your race, go ahead and change it. I'm one of those DMs that's totally open. You have until level 5. Once we're level 5, you're locked in, you're done. But until level 5, you want to change something, go ahead. Because I want you to have fun in the game. So if you're not having fun at levels 1, 2, and 3, what makes you think at level 8, 9, and 10 it's going to be any different?
Right.
So have some fun with it, but get into core. Understand that the core rules are done. PC Fluid. What the heck is wrong with you, dude? Oh, my God. That's Adam Farber, who is going to have a new podcast in the Bros and Dragons podcast. It'll come out in between podcasts on the 8th and the 22nd, I think. And there's something wrong with that dude, but that's why he's cool with us. Any other questions about clerics, go ahead and send an email to brosanddragons@gmail.com. Jason, thank you for joining me. I'm sad nobody else made it, but there's a lot of real life stuff going on in people's lives right now. And whether you believe in a deity or not, send some positive thoughts and or prayers towards our Twitch channel lead, or our Twitch channel guys in general. A lot of stuff's going on right now with some of those guys. It's big time stuff. It's not the little stuff, or I wouldn't have said anything. Jason, you got anything you want to plug? Is there something on Sundays you want to talk about?
Yeah, Sundays at 7 p.m. East or Central. Sorry, Doc runs the game, and I play the game. Come watch Moncoya. Come on out and shoot the shit. Tell us how bad we're doing. Tell us that we suck. Tell the paladin that he's amazing, but he needs to stop dying.
No, he needs to die.
No.
Because you only get one free.
Well, yeah, but we have a cleric now coming in.
Maybe.
Well, you know what? If our paladin dies, we'll have a cleric coming in.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Come on down. The guys RP and they have a great time doing it. Menkoya, they are literally in purgatory right now trying to get into the abyss to save their leader, and they are literally accidentally figuring things out. Come on down and watch them, make fun of them. We want to welcome our newest member to the Bros and Dragons family, the Full Frontal Nerd. You can check her out on her channel at twitch.tv/TFF Nerd. You can also find her on Twitter and Facebook the same way. I am DM Doc. Tom is usually here. Oh, I'm sorry, that way. Tom is usually here. He and I do a podcast. You're more welcome to come listen to it. The more the merrier. I am not looking to get more money. The purpose of that podcast is to get people interested in playing role-playing games, whether it is D&D 5th, Pathfinder, Vampires, whatever. I don't care. I just think role-playing games are definitely a way that we can get together as a community. As you see right above me, that way, is my...
Other way.
No, that's this one. See? That's my Twitter handle at IamDMDoc. You can follow us all at Bros and Dragons or at Bros, letter N, Dragons, INC. We're here every Thursday. If you have any comments, questions, or trolling, hit us up. We always love it. If you want to do some stupid fan art of us looking goofy, we've got the faces for it. But I just want to say that I want you all to keep it nerdy and remember to live your dreams. Say later. Bye, little dude.